there. So excited to welcome you to today's podcast. We're talking all about video, okay? And Rob Wiltsey has a lot of experience with video. We're going to talk about the importance of social media and using video. He's going to break down some really unique video hooks that are statistically proven to grab more views. He's going to share a couple video projects that they've been a part of at School Shine, but specifically talk about how he used Reddit to go viral and get some media coverage. This is a new tactic that I have never learned about. And so you're going to learn about it with me. Today, we're talking about Reddit. Very excited for you to learn from this episode. And guys, if you like learning about social media, just want to put a little plug. In October, the month of October, inside of my membership group, I go through my social media boot camp. It is a 4-week program that happens inside of my membership group. So only members get access to it. If you are new or newish, or even been in it for 5 years, but are still struggling with the systems, this program will help you. I have been doing it for years. It's totally changed the game for people's social media strategy, consistency, and basically well-being. And I want to invite you in there, but you've got to be in our membership group. So if you're having questions, check out socialschoolforedu.com. You can learn more about the membership group, or you can even email me, Andrea at socialschoolforedu.com. I will answer your questions. But that program is so helpful. And the newest version, we do it once a year, and it happens to be happening this next month in October. So why not come along? We record everything. You can access all of the resources the whole year long while you're part of the membership group. And there's lots more stuff besides just the social media boot camp happening there. But just want to make sure that you've got that invite. Now let's get to today's K-12 PR tip. All right, today's K-12 PR tip is maybe not so much of a tip, but it's just like, hey, this is the way Meta works. Many of you, as you've gotten into the new school year, there may have been change of personnel. And you're taking a look at some Facebook pages and you're like, we don't know who has access to the business portfolio or the business manager. Meta has this thing called business manager or business portfolio. And in some cases, you can kind of lose track of who actually has access to that. It recently came up in our membership group asking, hey, is there an easy way to find out who has, basically, I call it the keys to the castle? There isn't. There's no way that Meta gives you an opportunity to just say, okay, here's the business asset, the business manager, the business portfolio that owns this page, that kind of captures this page. There's no way to look at who has access to it without having a person go into their own Facebook account, get into the business manager, the business portfolio, and see, do I have access to it? So it's just another, I guess, public service announcement that this is something you should tackle sooner rather than later when it comes to all of the Facebook pages that may be associated with your school. It is something that I get questions on all the time. I am so sad that I can't personally help over Zoom, one by one, everybody across the country with solving these issues. But inside of our membership group, I can. We actually have live office hours and a social buzz that happens, a couple times every month, where I get in, I actually help people. But it is tricky. And I just want to say, establishing where your pages are for your school district and getting them under one business manager or business portfolio account will save you headaches years down the road. And it is kind of its own language. It's not easy. I wish it was easier. My job is to try to make it easier, and I try to, but it can just be really challenging. And so grab hold of that. If you need additional help, you can certainly look at our resources on our Facebook page or our mysocialschoolforedu.com. You can type into the search on the blogs and you can find many articles there, obviously into Meta Business Suite, Meta Business, Facebook, and ask the help articles there, but they're not always super helpful. But it is really important to see who has access to those and get proper access. Make sure you are added to those accounts so that if somebody leaves, you don't totally lose access, because otherwise sometimes you have to completely start over. And that is not what you want to do once you've established a great platform to celebrate the great things happening in your school. So just want to share that. Maybe it's not so much of a tip. Maybe it's just like some advice, a little bit of trying to grab a hold of that. And if you need help, reach out. I'll do my best to help you out for free. I'm telling you, we help a lot of folks inside of our membership group. And there's a reason we've got over 450 school districts across the country in there, because we need help and we need support. But now let's get some great training, some great strategies on video with Rob from School Shine. Let's get started. Welcome to the podcast. We've got Rob Wiltsey. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Perfect.
Okay. He's a hard guy to get a hold of because he's really busy. He's doing big things. So why don't you share a little bit of your background, Rob, and your work at School Shine?
Sure. Yeah. So I am someone who's always made videos. That's all I've ever done. Never had a full-time job. I have somehow, since high school, made paid the bills by making videos for different kinds of businesses and organizations and nonprofits that need really good storytelling. And around 2016, I've been in business for a while. By that point, I sort of stumbled into the huge need that school districts had to tell their story and to create content on social media and on YouTube and for all kinds of things, bond measures, community communication and PR and all kinds of things. So that was when I started really scaling up my video business and not just doing it by myself. And ever since then, we have worked with school districts mainly in the Southern California area, although we go other places too. But we've worked with a huge number of school districts in Southern California to kind of work with them on a multi-annual basis, just making the rounds, doing really high quality videos for all of their schools. And it's just been like a really cool thing that it's cool to find a niche that really, really needs what you do. And so we've kind of become the go-to for videos in the area, and we've just got a fantastic team that is out there interviewing students and teachers and faculty, and our videos. Some of our videos have gone on to do some big things and really affect some real change at these districts, which is obviously what it's all about. It's all about the videos being a tool to do something, to do a job, to either increase enrollment or increase awareness of a program, or even to like navigate COVID communications and crises and things like that. So the list kind of goes on, but we love what we do, and we're just excited to talk a little bit about it today. So
yeah, you say you never held like a full-time job. Rob works way more than a full-time job with all of your many ventures. So we had quite the conversation with just being two entrepreneurs. But you have a unique background too, because you went to college.
I went to college. I got my degree in industrial engineering. So went to Cal Poly Pomona, which is a great school, and learned all about process improvements and lean manufacturing and all this stuff that I'm not really, it's not directly what I'm doing now, but it's amazing how much of that totally comes into like building an operation. I mean, we're doing, hundreds of school district videos a year with a pretty small team. So everything is systems, everything is efficiency, everything is how do we create a process that results in like a reliable project. And what that means for videos is our school district that we made the video for, they look at the video and they go, yes, that's a great video. That's the video we wanted. Like if you can do that at scale, then we've got a system that's working, right? And so it's pretty cool how we've been able to incorporate that in. And it definitely has, at first it was one of those things where I'm like, why did I get this degree? I don't really want to go into this field. But I think it's good to kind of do some of those like off-road things from what you want to do, because it just makes you more well-rounded in interesting ways, like in the thing you do. And so I feel like it's just been a cool asset. But yeah, so that's a little bit about my background. And then of course, it's also, good for business. It's a good business degree, actually, even though it's not called a business degree, but it's like industrial engineering is all about how can you have an operation that like financially works, which if anyone that owns a business knows, it's all about finances. You don't want it to be, but it is.
Right.
And so yeah, so it all played in, I guess, from
Yeah.
that.
And my background's chemistry. It was chemistry and business, but I do feel like that science, like analytical background and some of that really plays a role. And so
Definitely.
you've been at this for a while and you work with a lot of schools that use basically are using social media to market their district. So when it comes to videos, what do you see them getting right with videos? And then what do you see them getting wrong with video?
Yeah, that's a great question. That the answer to that has like changed dramatically since I started. So one of the reasons that School Shine worked so well like in 2016, we popped off. Like we got dozens of districts working with us very quickly. And it was because that was like the moment where they realized that they had to be doing social media. They had to be telling their story. They had to be like have a brand. Like public school districts today, many of them that we work with really do now take marketing and brand and PR and communications, like digital marketing, all the things that brands and organizations do. Public school districts now have have an understanding and appreciation for how important that is. So now you actually see people with titles like director of marketing, like for a public school district, director of communications, PR. There's always been PIOs and things, but now you've got some of these titles kind of straight out of the marketing world. And so there's been a huge swing from school districts really having, and even schools, and then there's like the district brand itself having, basically no marketing, no uh, organic social media, anything. And obviously I'm preaching to the choir on all this. Like we've watched them go from really not having any understanding or appreciation for that to putting huge resources into that. And there's a lot of reasons that people know for why that is. Obviously it's because, parents have more choice. There's a lot of competition for students and things like that. And a school district that is marketing themselves exceptionally well versus a school district that is not really making that a priority at all, which one do you think is going to have an edge for enrollment, right? Or even a lot of it is also one of the best ways to increase enrollment, by the way, that people don't talk about. Maybe they do. I don't know. It's like, just don't like lose the kids you have, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Retain.
Retain, right? So it's like make your school so excited, make your current students so excited about where they go to school, right? And I think that if you have a district that isn't doing that, or if you have schools that aren't really doing that, they're not, and the parents don't feel super connected, and there's not a lot of storytelling, there's not a lot of content, because this is where we spend our time. So this is where kids' parents spend their time. So if you're the more of a presence you have here absolutely makes a difference for mind share that your parents have. There's a lot of parents that send their kids to school. There's no attachment to where their kids go to school. They're just, oh, that's where they go to school. Or you could have a district that is so great about telling its story and about sharing appreciation for the students and all the programs and the teachers and all this stuff and celebrating that on a regular basis. That absolutely makes a big difference. So I hit kind of the sweet spot, I feel like, everyone was like realizing that was really important, right? As we were also kind of coming on the scene and reaching out to these school districts. So I think that now school districts are getting it right. I think they're getting it right by and large, at least the ones that we work with. And there's a huge spectrum of how they're doing that. But I think that you have to afford yourself some type of system, sometimes of mechanism to be constantly telling your story, and to and we can go into more about like all the different types of utility that I think a video has for a school district, right? You don't just make content to make content. There's really good reasons to make content. But I think that what I see now is I see schools doing a great job with a lot of their content and with a lot of their own videos that they're making, and they're getting more free. They're loosening up. They're taking some risks with their content and doing some interesting stuff. I think that the biggest mistake, there's kind of like a couple big mistakes. Like I said, if a school district doesn't have any, there's a reason that video has paid my bills this whole time, is because video is the most important digital medium there is. Every social media channel that takes all of our time and attention are all video driven now. They're not really post driven. They used to kind of be. Now they're all video driven. Like Instagram is reels. Like that's really what it is.
Mhm.
TikTok is all video, right? TikTok doesn't even have anything except video. We are, YouTube. There's a reason that this medium has only become more and more important is because it's the only thing that can really capture emotion, right? It's like the only thing that can actually capture, because you've got a blend of visuals and movement and audio, right? Audio is a huge part of what makes a great video, and text, and you've got, you can tell a story, you can make someone cry with a video.
Mhm.
You can do all kinds of things with a video that is very challenging to do any other way, and that's why video is going to remain the dominant medium until further notice, until we're all living in like virtual reality headsets or something like that. In the meantime, it's like video, it can do things for your district that are so important, and I think that you're seeing, like I said, we're involved with like CalSPRA and all the communications folks for all these districts in California, and obviously NSPRA and things like that. And it is really cool seeing that there's a lot of really talented people now in these districts that are doing really interesting things. And we've had great opportunities through the years to work with some of these like communications folks at these districts who are like really creative. And they're like, what if we did this idea? And we're like, oh my gosh, like we didn't think of something like that. That's amazing. And so it's really cool to see. I do think schools I've watched them going from not really getting it to really doing a great job of it. So that's kind of what I think. I don't really see any districts majorly dropping the ball on this like maybe I did in 2016. But I do think every district kind of has its own culture and how
Yes.
far they're willing to go. So
Yeah, I think one of the main things that I see is just an unwillingness in some cases to get away from the traditional branded like this is our logo and we're going to start for the first 5 or 6 seconds of a video with just our standard entry point and then get to the good stuff. I mean, I believe that it's certainly challenging to get people's attention. And in order to do that, you need to maybe cut with or start with some teasers into what is going to be inside of this video versus just that traditional, oh, I'm going to just sit and watch a 3-minute video because it showed up in my news feed. Those are some of the things that I see maybe schools still not quite getting right because they're still a little bit caught in, and a lot of communications people, like you said, have come from other backgrounds and some of them are journalists. And so maybe they were traditionally brought up that way. And so, we at Social School for EDU have certainly tried to, continue to teach and encourage some out of the box thinking when it comes to video. Would you agree?
absolutely, yeah. So I mean, we could talk more about like the tactics of like how to actually grab attention and hold attention with a piece of content, because that's why I love doing what we do. Is I think that that's such a deep that like it's a psychological thing you're trying to play. It's psychological. It's also like there's the marketing side of it, there's a communication side of it. I think that like for any piece of content, the first thing I would suggest is when you're scrolling, all of us have whatever part of the day that we're probably kind of trying to unwind and mindlessly doing this. We're swiping or we're scrolling on Instagram. So, or whatever the case may be. So it's like, pay attention to what grabs your attention, like what actually grabs your attention. Because I think that that's like the gap is like, there's what we think we should make with our content as a school district. And then there's what actually grabs our attention at like 9 o'clock at night when we're scrolling. It's going to grab your attention. So I think that you have to take a bit of a risk, right? So, and all I mean by that is like, it's not really a big risk, but like you need to do something a little bit weird, a little bit interesting, something that kind of breaks a rule or something like about what you would expect a school district to post. So something a little bit silly, something a little bit, like it depends. We should probably define like what types of videos we're talking about. If it's there's like organic day-to-day content, right? And it's really important that content gets engaged with and is really creative and is really, there's a lot of energy put into that content, because that is what keeps your school exciting. It's what keeps your district on the top of mind of your parents. It's also what can help grab them if there is something you have to communicate through that video, like so many projects we've done. If it's a district address, right? If it's a piece of content that someone is opting in to watch, as opposed to it's catching them off guard in the middle of their organic feed, you don't really have to grab attention in the same way, right? If it's a video that's like, we are going to talk about the, like what this is an introduction video for the school and it's going to live on the website, or it's going to be something that we're going to show at at an event, or something where people are going to be seeking out this content intentionally. You don't really have to hook them. But if you're creating content that they're not opting into, and it's literally competing, like if you're subscribed to all these other accounts, I mean, you're subscribed to the most, like, you're probably subscribed to the stuff that just gives you the biggest dopamine rushes or whatever it is. I watch people like making food and whatever else, like whatever silly meme accounts I follow. I'm a millennial, so I'm all about the memes on Instagram. But like, what does my child's school district have to do with a video for me as a parent, for example, to to even notice, right? It's not even that I don't care about the school. It's like, oh, well, you're actually competing with on Instagram with really, really entertaining stuff. So I think that starting there and saying it's probably not enough to just point the camera at your face and just start talking and start saying something, or just to film something in the most basic way. I think that you have to push a little past that to say what is really creative and really interesting and what might actually get my attention. Here's a great example. So like, there's a bunch of, let's talk about hooks, video hooks. There's like a handful of good video hooks that exist, and all of them do the same thing, which is they appeal to like the back brain stem, like it's like millions of years old or whatever. So like, there's really only a few things that actually gets attention. It's one of them is eyes. We are very drawn to eyes. So content that starts with someone where eyes are very featured, that content consistently shows that if that's the opening shot, it's gonna grab someone. So if you're filming a video of if it's a video about a football game that's going on, the best opening shot is probably not a super wide shot of tiny little football players running around. It's probably an up close shot of someone that's making a really excited face with big eyes, and you're cheering or whatever, right? Like, that's just always gonna outperform a wide shot where there's not a whole lot to focus on in particular, right? Mm-hmm. Also, food is always going to be, if you're filming the culinary department or whatever, like program, like, don't show the whole kitchen super wide, don't show someone's back, like start on like the food, like there's always like, that's going to grab them more. Anticipation is a big one. So and you see this all the time now on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, where the opening shot is something about to happen and it grabs you. So picture like a big balloon and like a needle doing this, like you're gonna stick around, or like a water balloon falling on someone's head, like in slow motion. You're gonna stick around to see that action complete, right? So that's a little trick you can do, is if there's like a science project and someone's like pouring two things together, like that's a great opening hook. So these are there. Another one would be, people love adorable animals. People love beautiful landscapes. These are all things that are very, very deep down in our subconscious brains that grab attention for different biological reasons. And so kind of thinking about that from your video standpoint, as opposed to just thinking about, oh, I'm just going to film things as they are, kind of making it something that is engineered to grab attention, I think is just like best practices, and kind of thinking through. And then again, I think the best thing to do is, when you're scrolling and something really grabs your attention, pause and like examine your own behavior in that moment and go, what about this actually grabbed my attention? And you're going to find 100 other types of things beyond what I just said that are really interesting. And then just straight up use those tactics in your own videos.
Yeah. Yeah, because so much time goes into the videos, and if nobody watches them, then it's not really worth it. And so I love paying attention to what grabs our own attention. And obviously, you've been involved. I mean, we like what we were kind of talking about. It are those social videos that are totally made to try to stand out.
Yeah.
But you've been involved in some pretty unique projects with School Shine. Can you tell me a little bit more about the Covina Valley kindergarten registration
Oh, that was
project
fun.
that you were involved in?
Yeah, that one's fun. And I don't know if there's a way for you to share that one so people can see it, but
Yeah,
it's
we'll share a
adorable.
link for it.
Yeah, that one we did with Covina was like, hey, we need a video to remind parents we have a problem. The problem is parents are missing the deadline to register their kids for kindergarten. What do we do? So this is a number of years ago now, but yeah, we just did this. We just had this idea to like just take the kids and write this really adorable script. These kids, kindergarten, I have a kindergarten who is going into first grade now, but I mean, kids at that age are ridiculously adorable and everything they say is hilarious and amazing. And we're like, okay, let's just write a script for all these kids and kind of dice it up and just capture just pure adorableness with these kids. But they're over and over, they're communicating, I think it's like February 1st is like or whatever in the video. Like February 1st is the date. And that format has become, we've done like dozens of that format now. It's just a great format. So if anyone wants to check out that video, it's never a flop. Like whatever we do with these kindergartners, where we're having them communicate information, and then sometimes we'll throw them a big word. So a word that's a little beyond what a kindergartner could say. So we'll kind of write the script to have these like big vocabulary words, and we try to get them to say it. And so it's just a great way to communicate information. Like it's a great example of like, don't do the most basic version of something like this. The video was literally supposed to be like some admin at the school being like, hey, parents, don't forget to register your kids. Like there's always a more interesting way to do any
Mhm.
concept and any to meet the objective of any video you need to make. So that was a great example. And that's kind of one of the fun things about School Shine too, is we do like to kind of, everyone kind of benefits from the fact that we try all these ideas and one will really work at a district. And yeah, we'll like, we like to, have spread that around and try it with other districts and give it their own spin or whatever. But I mean, we've done literally, I think we've done like 6,000, maybe 5,000 school videos since 2016 or something. So we just tried like all kinds of fun stuff. But that one's a great example of how, and our editors did a great job cutting it together too. So yeah, check that one out because I think people will get inspired with that one.
Okay, I'll just make sure to get that link from you. So what
Yeah.
you did is you kind of took a problem. People weren't getting the registration. You decided to make a video instead of having a talking administrator to be like, "Hey, make sure you register your kids." You got kids involved, saying big words. You wrote the script and kind of helped prompt them. You got several different students involved, and then were
Probably
they
like
also
10.
on camera?
Yeah, probably like
Okay.
10 students. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great format once people see it, they'll understand what it is. And like you can use that format for anything. And if you have some information to communicate, and also then, if you put that on Instagram, you can get those parents of those kids to promote it. And like that's the other cool thing about the other dimension of video is what can you create that will make, if it's little kids as parents, but if it's older kids and they are on social media or whatever, what content will people want to share because they're featured in it. So creating these video events where a lot of people get involved with it, those people want to share the video too. So that's the other good reason to have content that features a lot of different people. And then I would actually, see about, maybe getting them to commit to sharing it, giving it a share or, reposting it or whatever, because then that's the real power of social media too. It's not just like YouTube where it's like you're just posting a video for people to go find and watch. It's social. You can, if you get the right people involved with the video, they can get lots of views, lots of momentum behind a piece of content. So I think that happened as well with this particular video at that time. And so, yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, right now I'm just thinking about, I was just with a few girlfriends this last weekend, and it's like we're sharing different little videos like TikTok or real
Yeah.
videos of these kids saying, it's not a goat, it's a effing goat, and it's so funny. But these little kids saying these different things, and obviously you wouldn't do that for your school. But
Yeah.
when you get kids talking about more complex things or whatever, it
Yeah.
is shareable, it's cute, and when it's your kid, you're going to share that as well. um
Absolutely.
so you not only help schools with like registration campaigns or bonds or enrollment strategies, but you also help recognize other opportunities, and you had a really big video kind of go viral in a big way about with the Chino Valley Virtual Choir. So can you tell
Yeah.
me about that whole experience?
Yeah, and I got to give a big shout out to Amy Perius, who was the like I think public relations officer, so something to that effect too. But she was the person we worked with her for years at Chino Valley and did some of the most out of the box ideas. And so she, in all fairness, she had this idea that so if you go back and think about like the second week of March 2020, whatever, when like the world was shutting down, right? And then it's like, oh my gosh, they're going to close the schools. This is crazy. Like this is such a big change. The schools closed, whatever day that was, March 16th, whatever.
Yeah.
So that day, and as you can imagine, we make videos for school districts. This was a very scary moment for us because it's like no school is wanting to. We have no work we can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because schools are not in session. All we do is film stuff on school campuses. So I remember that feeling of just like it was just really a feeling of dread for like what I got all these employees. What are we going to do? And so, and I think a lot of people were feeling that way. So everyone's feeling very, there's a sense of dread in the air, and people were very scared. People were very, there was so much uncertainty. No one knew what to do. There was at, so Chino, Amy, who I worked with, she said, "Hey, I heard about this. One of our choirs had a show uh, scheduled for like later this week, and they can't do it now. Is there any way that we could like do a virtual like show or a virtual song, or whatever?" And yeah, I was like, yeah, we could like if they all sent over like I kind of put instructions together. Okay, have them like all start their because there was like 40 kids or something in this choir, and they were going to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And so I put these instructions together for them where they were going to, there's like a click track for the song and like make sure you record with a good microphone and all this stuff. So about 24 hours later, I had everyone's recordings. And I just threw them all together and did some mixing, whatever, and like did a little intro that was a little bit emotional, and made this video and gave it to the school, and they're like, "Oh, that's so nice," and the kids sounded great, right? So they're singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I sort of started with this intro that said like, on this date, like, school was closed down for COVID, but that didn't stop this choir from like doing their show or whatever, or doing this particular performance. So and then I thought, I've gotten a few things to go viral on Reddit before. That's one of the best ways to get things to go viral, by the way, is posting them on the right subreddit. I don't know how familiar you are with Reddit, but there's a subreddit for everything, and I've had 5 things go pretty viral this way. This being one of them. Just through the years, like doing different things and put it on Reddit. So what happened is, I'm spoiling the story, but I posted this video on Reddit. Um, the day after everything kind of shut down, and sure enough, it got, I forget how many. I mean, it got tens of thousands of upvotes, which on Reddit is like a lot. Got like tens of thousands of upvotes on Reddit, and the comments were amazing. Like the comments now, these people that don't know anything about Chino Valley are watching this video, and the amount of people that were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm literally crying right now." This because the kids' performance was so great, and I think it was like striking a chord with everybody. It was just like so scared about the future and everything that's like what's happening right now. And and it seemed to be like therapeutic to literally thousands of people. Like the comments are amazing. I could share a link to that too.
Yes.
So and so today, so because the way that it kind of works, and this is interesting for people to know, is like if you want your school district to make something go viral, put make something that, there's you also want, I'm going to talk about the timing aspect of this, which I think is interesting. But you post it, and you post it in a way that is very, the title is important. I think I just said, you want to give context to what the video is. A lot of what goes viral on Reddit is not because of the content, it's because of the title, because the title gives context to the content. And I think there is a real art to writing a title for the post about your video that you share that is the difference between it going viral and being really well received and people maybe not giving it any attention. And I don't remember exactly what the title was, but it was something to the tune of this. It didn't stop this. It's about the choir being resilient. That's what it's about. It's not about, hey, look, the school district made a virtual video. It was something about the choir and them not giving up in this scary moment or whatever. And because everyone felt scared. So anyway, it went so viral that all these different articles, I mean, like I can send all the links, like all these different articles, like Huffington Post and BuzzFeed, and the list goes on. Like they all did articles about this. Nickelodeon reached out because they were doing something with Kristen Bell, and they did some special COVID special program thing with Kristen Bell where they had a lot of these different voices, and like helping kids like process everything that was happening. You can go find it online, and they featured this video, and then they actually superimposed Kristen Bell as one of the squares like in the video. And now now the video on YouTube's got millions of views or whatever. So why did that go viral? There are literally hundreds of people. There's hundreds of schools that have made these virtual choir videos during COVID, but most of them didn't go particularly viral. It was because we were like the first one to do it, and we hit it in a very time sensitive moment. So I think there's an element as well to when the takeaway for me is a lot of times in communities like a district or a city or a school, a lot of times there's an emotional moment. And I think that there are amazing opportunities to create content to resonate with that moment in a very empathetic way. And it doesn't just have to be like a sad thing. It could be like a exciting thing or whatever. But I think that like the value of just like taking action really, really quick and making the right content for the right moment. I think timing is the context in that moment around the content, that can be why it really pops off, why it really gets shared, why it really gets engaged with. So I think it's not just about making the right video, it's about responding with the video in the right moment and not really overthinking it, not really dragging your feet, just like get the right content out there. And it's just amazing what can happen. And I would also say if you want to go broadly viral, Reddit has been a very consistent way for us to do that.
So on Reddit, you're posting it on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, and then when you go to Reddit, are you posting a link to one of those channels, or are you uploading the video directly into Reddit? I've never done.
Yeah, that's a great question. Usually we post we off to the side, we post it on YouTube and post that YouTube link on Reddit. Okay. And the reason that it goes viral, by the way, here's why it really goes viral, is there's layers here. So the Reddit layer is like the bottom layer of like, these are people on Reddit who are liking it. That's never going to get that much engagement. Like a really, really, really successful Reddit post maybe has 10,000, it depends on the subreddit, but like 10,000 likes, or they call it upvotes, or 30,000 would be huge on like most subreddits, right? So that's not that many likes in Instagram world, right? Like that's like, TikTok, you have like it's like 100,000 likes, right? Or way more, and that's like not even a big deal these days. But like on Reddit, what happens is then you have publications. So you have people at places like BuzzFeed, places like Huffington Post. You have people like that. That's like the next tier, is those people are always crawling on Reddit because that's where a lot of viral stuff starts. So they're finding stuff and then they're making articles about it. So if you can get their attention, and usually what happens is if something goes moderately viral on a subreddit like videos or on a subreddit, like it's also good to go to post on a few subreddits. So maybe there's like public education or
And what do you
like,
mean by subreddits? Subreddits are like
yeah,
categories within Reddits.
they're like communities, yeah, within
Okay.
Reddit. So there is literally a subreddit for everything. So that's kind of what's cool about Reddit. And there's parts of Reddit that you probably got to be careful about because it's the Wild West
I see.
a little bit. But it's also an amazing Reddit. Everything's on Reddit, right? Every sub community you could ever imagine has a subreddit, and if you post something really relevant to a very niche subreddit and you get a lot of action in a niche subreddit, that can actually make it go viral, even though you're not getting that much attention. It's not getting that much attention. So you can post the same link in different subreddits. And so I think I just posted this one in videos. I didn't do it anywhere special, but a lot of the time, if the video, I could have posted this on different like public education subreddits, or I could have posted it on different communities that are maybe quiet singing, like singing subreddits, right? So there's all
Yeah.
these different points of intersection for that content, and all it takes is for it to get noticed by a few publications where they will repost it, and that sets off a chain reaction where and I've literally had this happen 5 times through the last 10 years where someone on Reddit got articles made about it, and that made it get millions of views, and all kinds of peripheral things happened. And so I think that's just a really interesting thing that school districts probably aren't aware of as a
Yeah.
mechanism for making things go viral. And who doesn't want to go viral, right? I don't
Right.
know.
If it's for the right reason, we're good.
If it's for the right
Because
reason.
isn't Reddit like where like this bride isn't inviting this, groomsman, and then they ask, is that right? Like they're asking for advice and they get all these comments. Is that Reddit or is that something else?
That certainly happens on Reddit. Reddit is so many things all
Right.
wrapped into one, right? So Reddit, there's a lot of I mean, there's definitely people asking for relationship advice and forums on there and
Yeah.
whatever. But it's
That's
all
a,
about the subreddit.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I see that pops up. As you're saying, talking about all of this, Rob, all I can say is how convenient to be singing, somewhere over the rainbow versus them like getting ready to sing Hell's Bells by AC/DC or something, that probably wouldn't have had the same sentimental tone as,
Right. Well,
as COVID hit.
what I thought that was interesting too, because there was a little bit of symbolism for me, because it's like we're not in Kansas anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there was this vibe of like the world is very different now. What is going
Right.
on? And that is straight out of Wizard of Oz. So to me, that was like this interesting subtext to that song. And and I think there's something about, you guys all have to watch this video, whoever's listening, because there's
Yes.
something about the way these kids were singing the song. And they did it totally a cappella too. There's a way that they're singing it where you can tell that there's an uneasiness under the surface, but they're being courageous in this
Right.
moment. That's definitely the emotional ethos of the video somehow, and it's in the way that it came through. I think, I mean, like I said, the amount of comments of people saying that this like made my day. I've been feeling depressed. This brightened my day. I'm crying. I can't. Why am I crying? Like it was like all those kinds of videos. It's like, wow, like only a piece of video content can do that, right? Online. So
Right.
just such a cool
Yeah, and that
experience.
speaks a little bit to the authenticity that you can transfer when you use video. I mean, obviously you're doing a music performance, it needs to be video. Which, by the way, there are so many people that use Instagram stories or whatever at like a music event, and then they won't share videos. It'll just all be pictures. So just
Right.
make sure that you have some videos so that people can listen to the music.
Right.
But that authenticity really speaks over perfection. And that's so powerful. So when do you think, obviously School Shine works with people that don't have a PR department, or they don't have a videographer their own, or they maybe are, looking to, well, we really want to create something special. So when do you think a school should look for outside help with video?
That's a great question. The videos we tend to make are the ones that reflect on the district's brand or the
Yep.
school's brand. So, for example, all the districts we work with have people that know how to make their own videos. They have video departments, they have photographers, they have you know, maybe there's video departments. Maybe there's like literally like a video, high school video, you know, CTE as they call it out here, in California. Is that everywhere, by the way, the CTE
Career
program?
and technical education. I mean, a lot of school, and some schools have specific like programs where juniors and seniors go and get. But so there's a wide variety, but most people have the career tech training type things. Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of them have video ones too. So there's a huge ecosystem of video content. So we make the videos. Like a lot of the relationships we have with districts is like we charge by the filming day. We have like these filming day retainers. So it's like maybe we're doing 6 filming days or 12 filming days or 18 filming days or whatever
Okay.
throughout the year. So in those filming days, we are creating all kinds of videos, but they're always videos that have a lot. They're always videos that are more consequential to the district and its communication goals. It's not just like content just for content's sake, but a lot of it does end up on social media. But it's really stuff from the district's voice or from the different schools' voice. So we have what we call anthem videos. So that's like just a big hello world. This is who we are
Yeah.
at this high school, right?
Yep.
And those. So we're capturing what makes that school really unique and special, because in one district there'll be 4 high schools and all 4 have a different something. They all have a different vibe, different personality, different emphasis with what they offer and what really makes that school special and unique. And I think if you do that across the board, you can then help not only people come into your school district, hopefully, increase enrollment that way, but also just like help people appreciate it's kind of hard to have that 30,000 foot view of like, okay, there's these like 14 schools in the district. What is it about each school? Like, where should my child be going? I mean, now it seems like students are able to kind of choose their schools
Right.
more easily now. And so, yeah, helping people really understand like why that school is special and what it has to offer from a vantage point of like the district. This is like official branded content, not something that like, so a lot of what we're really doing, like we shoot videos and we edit, but a lot of the way that we're thinking is in terms of content strategy and communication. So we're thinking more like
Right.
so the districts we work with rely on us to help them tell how they should tell the story. So we're not just kind of the team that just shoots stuff and edits it. We do that, but really how we think about it in the relationship we have with these districts is we've done a lot of really high stakes projects. Like I could go into some details. I don't know how much I should, but like districts that are like splitting into 2.
Right.
Which I won't name the district. I don't know. Some people might know, but there's like a district out here that's going into like splitting into 2 separate districts after being together for a very, very long time.
Right.
For a lot of different reasons, or they're at least having that public conversation, and it's a very, very complicated thing.
Right.
So we're then involved with helping them navigate that. What is the content that's gonna not trip any wires here? Like, how do we these very delicate situations? So a lot of times we find ourselves actually like doing a lot of very high stakes content that is like bond measure recap videos or think like during COVID, we did a lot of like, here's all the COVID safety policies that we have. Things about there's other if you remember, there was a lot of heat that a lot of schools were getting. And I felt really bad for all of these. You remember during COVID, there was like the school board meetings, or is that what they are, like, where the
Yep.
parents and just how nasty some of those got.
Mhm.
And I felt so bad for the districts that we work with, because the parents have no one else the parents are understandably feeling very frustrated about a lot of the policies and a lot of protocols and all kinds of stuff. And the school districts didn't, in most cases, they're just taking directives from the State Department and other places. So creating content that can help the community trust the district in the midst of this stuff
Yeah.
is like really big. So that's a lot of what we're doing. Another district out here, we just did a ton of video. So Apple has something called the Apple Distinguished School program where you can become an Apple Distinguished School. It's a very big kind of like recognition that you get from Apple that you are like an exceptional school district with you're using technology in really good ways and all kinds of other stuff. So we made a lot, and you have to submit a video to do that. So like for each school, so we did all these videos that are really trying to tell that story, because if this video is done properly, then they will earn the accreditation. So like
Yeah.
all the videos
Awesome.
we make end up being there. There's a lot writing on the content, right? It's
Right.
not just like the it's not always just the fun stuff. Sometimes it is like the fun
Right.
stuff. A lot of times it's like that's the stuff I like, is like let's like digging in with the district and helping
Right.
them.
And then you help bring that, yeah, you help bring that expertise. So if people want to get in connection with you or School Shine, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, schoolshine.org is
Okay.
our website. And you can go on there and you can see some videos that we've made, and you can reach out if you have any questions. And we are located in Los Angeles, greater Los Angeles area, but we also can do videos anywhere. And I won't go into those details, but
Yeah.
that is we do videos all over the country for different schools. And so yeah, if they have any questions, they can reach out on the website, I guess. So
Okay. Well, we'll make sure to leave that, and I'll probably leave your email too, which is really easy because it's rob@schoolshine.org, I think. But we'll make sure to get those two video links from you. I learned a lot about Reddit today, so that was really fun. So thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
yeah, this was
Um,
fun.
yeah, absolutely. And thanks for listening, you guys. We are right in the thick of it with back to school. Rob shared a little bit. I mean, some of the bond referendum. I know some of you guys are working on some of those efforts now leading into election season coming up just around the corner. So good luck with that. And we will see you guys all back here next week with another guest. Thanks so much, Rob. Bye bye.
You too.